the South African Human Rights Commission's hearings into the July unrest in parts of KZN and Gauteng continues today. Residents of Phoenix and surrounding areas are expected to testify on the alleged violation of their human rights. 36 people said to have died only in Phoenix, with several vigilante attacks reported as well. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan has been tracking that story. Karinda, it's day 2 today of these hearings. Perhaps just as a start, give us a sense of what happened yesterday.
Indeed, well, like you mentioned, the Human Rights Commission investigating the alleged violation of human rights that occurred during the July unrest. Now, yesterday the focus was on the Khan Road informal settlement of Pietermaritzburg, where a number of community members were bussed into this area in Durban where the hearings are being held, and several residents gave testimony around the death of a teenager, 17-year-old Spahle Nguse, who was killed on Monday, the 12th of July. Now, just to give you some background, we understand that the community members saw unknown men burn tires near their road. And when they went to look at what was happening, now this was the morning as we saw scenes of looting happening across the province, the community members were then seen by private security guards as well as police and local neighborhood watch groups that then opened tear gas and we understand rubber bullets on the community members. There were also allegations that live rounds were used against them. And in the midst of this, the 17-year-old boy Spahle was shot. He later died in hospital, we understand. And what the community members came here to say is that they're seeking justice for Spahle, but also to speak about the allegations of racism they experienced on the ground. We then heard, or rather they told us about instances where people belonging to the local neighborhood watch and the local police station, predominantly Indian residents in that area, actually blocked off the roads around the Khan Road informal settlement, not allowing some of the local residents to actually leave that area. So this just surfacing instances of racism and the racial tension in that community. And then we also heard from one of the local activists who is part of a local peace committee there, Roshan Jainath, who spoke about the instances of racism himself, saying there are criminal elements within the local neighborhood watch that has further impacted what was happening during the July unrest. And then going on to say that racism, while there were small vigilante groups within the community, racism was more extended and more rife on social media, especially with social media users being able to hide behind that wall, sending out messages regarding the residents of Khan Road informal settlement, one person even imploring the fact that the settlement was burnt down. Residents there did not have housing for at least 6 days before local community members banded together to rebuild their community. So that was what was day 1 of the hearing, just focused on the death of a teenager during the July unrest in Pietermaritzburg, one of over 350 people who died in KZN and Gauteng, and what the community is feeling now regarding the social fabric there. Michelle.
And today, Karinda, we understand that Phoenix, residents of Phoenix and their experiences during those days of unrest in the country, that's going to feature high up in the Commission's hearings today.
Absolutely. We do expect in a few minutes for residents from the Phoenix, Zwelicha, Bambayi, Nanda area, that community around Phoenix, to be present here. Now, there'll be a handful of people actually giving testimony, but a lot of their local friends and family will be here to actually give support to them. We know that at least 36 people were killed in and around Phoenix during the July unrest. There were a number of reported vigilante attacks, racially motivated attacks, and we also saw the hashtag Phoenix Massacre occur on social media with allegations that the Indian residents of Phoenix had embarked on racially motivated attacks in the community. And so that is what is going to be investigated today here. We do expect these hearings to run up until 5 o'clock this afternoon, and it becomes a very emotional time for the residents who recount what they went through and who recount what they experienced. Now, I have lost my line to you, Michelle, but also just to add that on Wednesday, Wednesday, we do understand that the Human Rights Commission panelists will further embark on a local on-site inspection where they'll go to Pietermaritzburg, they'll go to areas of Phoenix to speak to some of the residents on the ground, and ultimately after December 3rd, once they've done their hearings, they'll compile a recommendation report to provide authorities with an understanding of what happened, the allegations of violating human rights, and what steps should be taken forward.
Karinda, Jagmohan, thanks very much indeed. And of course, we're keeping an eye on the Human Rights Commission's hearings taking place in Durban.